Today I'm going to show you how to sew a super cute Aloha stuffed bunny. It's very quick and easy using this tutorial. The link below in the description box will bring you to the pattern pieces so that you can print these out. If you're watching from our website, alohasewingcompany.com, welcome and sew along. There is also a link in the description box to take you to the bundle pieces that will show you how to make the bow, the skirt, and the necktie for this bunny. After you have your pattern pieces cut out, assemble them with tape. The tutorial will tell you how to do that. And then you're going to lay your main fabric with the right sides together so that you can get two mirrored cuts out of each piece. Trace it on the top of this fabric and then cut them out. For your bunny ears and your bunny foot, you're also going to cut two of each of those onto a contrasting fabric. Lay your contrasting fabric wrong side together, get your bunny ear pattern and flip it upside down, trace around that, and then trace around your bunny foot. Again, it's going to give you two cuts, and you want to do it this way so it lays the right direction when the bunny is all finished. Out of each pattern piece, you should have two of your main fabric for your bunny cut out and two of your feet and ears on your contrasting fabric. Now let's put together your bunny ears. Lay your contrasting fabric and your main fabric with the right sides together, and then you're going to pin or clip all the way around your bunny ear, starting at the top, but you're not going to pin or clip across the bottom so that you remember you're not going to sew across the bottom. Use many pins or clips, especially if you're using a minky or any kind of fabric that moves as you sew, so this will help everything stay aligned. Now take this to your sewing machine and using a 3/8 inch sewing allowance, sew all the way around your ear, but not sewing across the bottom here. Here it is all sewn. Mine's a little bit crooked in the stitches, and that's okay, and that's because I'm teaching my 12-year-old how to sew with minky, and it does slip and slide, but it won't affect anything. Go ahead and trim off your seam allowance, and towards the top of your ear, where the curve at the top is, sew it a little closer to your stitches, but not right up to your stitches. Now go ahead and turn this right side out through the opening at the bottom of the ear, and you're going to smoothen out all of your seams. You can use a finger. I like to use a chopstick and go ahead and smoothen out all of my seams so that they lay nice and flat, and then you're going to press it flat with your iron. Again, if you are using any kind of minky fabric, make sure you don't press right on top of that minky because they're not meant to be ironed very well. I like to press it right on top of my cotton piece. Repeat this process for your other bunny ear, and this is what they look like when they're done. Let's put those to the side and start assembling our bunny. So for all four pieces that we have for our main bunny, you will have little notches that you cut out across the bottom. They look like little small skinny triangles. Align those two pieces together, and then you're going to take this to your sewing machine, pin or clip it if you need to, and sew at an angle from the top corner all the way to the bottom. Here's what it looks like once I'm all finished sewing that piece. You can see I sewed it right at an angle above that slip mark all the way to the bottom. Open it up and press out your seam. This is what allows your bunny to have a bottom so that it can sit. Do this for all four pieces of your main bunny fabrics. Here's the bunny back, and again, it looks a little bit different than the front piece, but you're gonna do it the same exact way. Now let's work on piecing the front of our bunny together. You're going to get both of your front bunny pieces and lay them with the right sides together. That means the pretty fabric that's going to show on the outside of your bunny should be laying together so that they're kissing. Now you're going to pin or clip along the left side of this bunny, starting at the top. And then you're going to sew using a 3/8 inch seam allowance all the way across the top part only. You can see here, I have sewn using a 3/8 inch seam allowance from the bottom to the top of the bunny here, and then go right at the nape of the neck and make a clip all the way up to your stitch line. Now unfold these pieces and go ahead and smoothen out the seam that you just sewed. Now go ahead and grab one of your bunny ears. You're going to fold it so 1/3 of it approximately goes inwards to the middle. And then you're going to flip this right side down where the fold is facing the top of your bunny head here, and pin or clip it 3 inches from the top side seam. To do this, you're going to measure from the top seam 3 inches down. You can make a small mark if you need to, or you can just hold your finger there like I'm doing. And then you're gonna place your bunny ear right at that top 3-inch mark. The fold of that ear should be towards the top. Pin or clip it in place, and then take this to your sewing machine and baste it right close to the edge of your bunny top. Basting just basically means holding it in place. So it's just a small stitch right towards the top, and it holds it in place so it doesn't move around when we're sewing our bunny together. Here's what it looks like once it's all done. You can see the folds are at the top there. And now we're going to work on putting the back of our bunny together. Similarly to how you did the front, lay the pieces with the right sides together, and starting at the very tip here on my right side, go ahead and pin or clip down the back part of your bunny piece. You're going to leave about a 3 to 4 inch gap opening at the middle of the hump towards the back here, so that way you can stuff your bunny and flip it right side out later. Take this to your sewing machine, and using a 3/8 inch seam allowance, sew the bottom to the beginning of your 3 to 4 inch gap, and then on the other side of your gap, sew all the way across to the top. Here's what it looks like when I'm done sewing. You can see I left that 3 to 4 inch gap open. I did not sew that area, and I sewed the rest all the way around the top. Now we're going to clip the corner right at the nape of the neck like we did on our front piece, and then go ahead and open this up and smoothen out your seams. Now we're going to assemble the front and the back pieces together. Get your front bunny piece and lay it with the right side up. Roll your bunny ears out of the way so that they're not near any of the sides so you don't catch it with your sewing machine. Get your back bunny piece, lay the right side down on top so that the right sides of your front and back are together, and line up the top middle seams that you created. Line those up together and pin or clip them in place. Next, you're going to work on going all the way around your bunny, all the way around the outside pieces, and pinning or clip them together. I would suggest you using plenty pins or clips so that way it doesn't move and shift as you're sewing around the diameter of your bunny, especially if you're using a minky soft fabric that tends to move a lot when you sew. You're not going to pin or clip across the bottom of your bunny feet. In just a minute, we're going to attach those contrasting fabric bunny ovals. Here you can see where I did not pin or clip the bottom of the feet because we are not going to sew those pieces. Additionally, in the inseam of the bunny, where the crotch should be, you have your seams that you should have lined up just like you did on the top of your bunny so that they line up perfectly. Now take this to your sewing machine and starting at the bottom, sew using a 3/8 inch seam allowance across that inseam, and then go to the other side of the foot and sew all the way around your entire bunny piece. Again, you're using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Do not sew across the bottom bunny feet. And you can go ahead and adjust your bunny ears on the inside through that back hole opening, just to get them out of the way of any areas that you might be sewing so that you don't catch the bottom or sides of the bunny ears when you sew these together. Here's what it looks like when it's all done. Mine's not completely straight because again, I'm teaching somebody to sew. Go ahead and clip any corners right up to the stitch, but not going through the stitches. So that way when you turn this right side out, those corners won't pucker up. Trim off any excess seam allowance if you need to, but it's not 100% necessary if you're using a minky fabric. If you're using cotton, I would go ahead and clip some notches into all of your curves up to the stitch length so that it turns right side out nice and flat. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on attaching the bottom of your bunny feet. Get your oval bunny foot pieces, fold it in half, so that you create a crease just at the top and the bottom of that bunny oval. Then you're going to get the bottom foot of your main piece and match up the top seam with the top crease of that oval with the right sides together. And then you're going to also get the bottom seam of that foot and match it up with the bottom crease of that oval. Pin or clip it in place, and then add a few more pins or clips all the way around this oval, and then you're going to take it to your sewing machine and sew all the way around the oval using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. On my white minky part of my bunny foot, I also clipped a few notches going all the way around the bunny foot so that it helps my oval lay nice and flat as I'm pinning and sewing this. It's not a necessary step, but it can help some people, especially if you're using a cotton-like fabric. The same step for your other bunny foot, and here's what it looks like when it's all finished. You can clip little notches all the way around the oval foot after you've sewn it, so that way it lays nice and flat, but I'm using a minky fabric, so I don't really have any issues with that. If you're using cotton, you may want to do that. Now through the hole opening in the back, go ahead and pull your bunny right side out and smoothen out all of your seams. I like to use a chopstick to go in through the back of the bunny and press it against every single seam that I have, making sure they're all nice and pushed out. We're gonna work on stuffing our bunny. I use polyfill stuffing. I have a 16-ounce bag. I use about 6 to 8 ounces of polyfill for this. If you don't have polyfill, but you have a pillow you don't use, you can bust open that pillow and use the stuffing from inside that. Grab about a handful and go ahead and shove it into the legs of both of your bunny legs and use your 2 fingers to just push it up until you have it nice and as firm as you like it to be. Now, right at the creases where a typical joint would be, connecting the leg and the body of your bunny or the arm and the body of your belly, those joint pieces you don't want to have as stuffed with stuffing, so that way the arms and legs move a little bit more and it sits more upright. After you do the legs, go ahead and stuff the arms. And after you stuff the arms, you're gonna stuff about 75% of your head, and then we're going to work on adding some safety eyes and a safety nose. You can get the safety eye and nose stuffed animal kit on Amazon for less than $10, and it comes with a ton of pieces. So I like to use that because these are for my 1 and 2-year-old toddlers. You can also hand embroider the nose and eyes or use buttons if you know how to do that. Here is the animal eye and nose kit that I'm using. I'm also using an awl to poke a hole through my fabric. You can use scissors if you don't have one of those. And what we're going to do is measure 2.5 inches from the top middle of our bunny. Put your finger there and then put that number 2 right in the middle of where your placement is. Make a little mark at the number 3 and at the number 1 so that your eyes are 2 inches apart, 1 inch from that right middle seam in the middle of your bunny. Once you have that mark, or you can just place some sewing pins if you don't want to make a mark, you're going to get your awl with your hand inside the back of the bunny so it doesn't puncture through both of your fabric pieces. Put the awl right through your marking or your pin placement so that it creates a hole in that fabric. Do it for both of your eyes. Again, if you don't have an awl, you just snip it very smallly with your scissors. Get your 2 eyepieces. They look like little plastic screws, and we're going to put those in. This is the back to your safety piece. Put the black eye through the top of your fabric so that the screw part goes inside of your stuffed animal. Then you're going to go into your stuffed animal through the hole in the back, and you're going to place that safety piece right on top. It literally just snaps right on, and that's it. Stuff like this looks intimidating to learn until you find out how truly easy it is. So I'm just going to push it right in place, and these safety eyes will not come out. And you're going to do the same thing for the other eye, and then we will work on the nose placement. Here is the nose piece that I decided to use. It works exactly the same way as the eyes do. You're going to place it right in the middle of the 2 eyes, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches below. I'm using it at about 1 inch below the eyes, right in the middle, poking a hole, and then doing the same process that I did for the eyes. If you are going to hand embroider, just use those placement measurements to hand embroider that in place. And now we're going to finish stuffing our bunny by stuffing more in the head, making sure that the face is nice and stuffed just like we want it to be, and then stuff the rest of your bunny body by using handfuls at a time to your desired fluffiness. Now you are done assembling this bunny together. The only thing you have left to do is to close the opening in the back using an invisible stitch. I would use an invisible ladder stitch. It is really simple to learn how to do, and it only takes a minute. If you don't know how to do that, I will link that in the pattern pieces to a video on how to close this up using an invisible ladder stitch. And again, this is what it looks like when it's all finished. Super, super cute. You can use any kind of fabric you want to use. And the bundle also comes with the necktie, bow tie for little bunny boys, and a hair bow and a skirt for the girls. And before I forget, if you want to add a bunny tail, you can use a 2.5 to 3 inch pom-pom or make your own yarn pom-pom and hand stitch it to the back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and have fun sewing along with me. Please, please, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel to see all of our easy sewing patterns as they're released. Visit AlohaSewingCompany.com, or the link is down below in the description box on YouTube to see all of our super easy sewing patterns that you can print at home so you can start to sew faster. We make sewing patterns for literally everything, from baby items, kids' clothes, decorations, holiday stuff and gifts, bags and more. And before you go, mahalo.